Hey there, this is Dora from Write with Magic, and today I want to talk to you about three mistakes that can get in the way of publishing your book. So, the first mistake that I want to talk about is not setting any deadlines for yourself. I know that writing can go on forever if you don't set any deadlines. As authors, we tend to fall into the trap of perfectionism. So we want to make things better and better, and it's never good enough. And at the same time, writing is a creative process, and we're resistant to putting any deadlines on it. And I think it's very motivating to set some kind of a due date for yourself. Let's say this year, by the end of the year, you want to submit a draft to so and so. So even though writing is a creative process, it's actually going to go better if you do have some kind of deadlines for yourself. It could be a deadline for submitting your manuscript to an editor, it could be a deadline for wrapping up the chapter that you're working on. I think that a good deadline is submitting a manuscript to a first reader who's not really officially an editor, but it's a good way to set a deadline for yourself to get your writing done without feeling like you're committing it to a final, editing. And that's what I did for my book choice, which was my first novel. It felt very intimidating to send it to an official editor by a certain deadline. But I found someone who was a friend and I sent it to her. I told her a deadline by when I would send her the first couple of chapters. And it was just really motivating for me to send it to somebody because it made it more real. Until that time, the book was just in my head. I didn't really share it with anyone. And when I sent it to this first reader, who was a friend, um, just to have somebody to read it, to give me feedback on it, it made it more real. And it helped me also to finish the rest of the chapters. The second mistake that I want to talk about is relying on family for professional editing. Now, it might be the case that in your family there could be professional editors, in which case that would be great. But for the majority of cases, I recommend that you go with a professional editor, not somebody in your family who might be good in English or grammar, because if they're in your family, they're also going to be a little bit biased and maybe they don't want to give you honest feedback. And getting a professional editor has become much more affordable in recent years. And it's also going to give you really good feedback. There might be some plot holes or some inconsistencies in your manuscript. So I really highly recommend that you go with a professional editor, that you invest in somebody. You can do your research to see who's the best fit for you, and to really give that manuscript over to somebody who can give you professional, unbiased feedback. And the third thing that I want to talk about, the third mistake, is to leave your writing up to chance. So if you don't have a specific time, a specific routine that you dedicate to writing, it's just going to be really easy to forget that you're supposed to be writing a certain time of day. It's really easy to skip that day. Oh, today I don't feel like writing. So the third mistake is to leaving writing time up to chance. So I highly recommend that you create a writing routine for yourself where you decide when you're going to write, for how long you're going to write. It doesn't have to be every day, but I highly recommend a weekly writing routine, a certain number of days that you write every week, and just to have it in your calendar because that's what makes it real. When you schedule it, it makes it real. And with my book choice, I only started out by writing 15 minutes every morning. That was my writing routine. And I eventually increased it to about an hour a day, and then it was two, and then finally three when it was really close to handing it over to an editor. So have a writing routine. Okay, don't make the mistake of leaving writing time up to chance. So let's review the three mistakes. The first one is not setting any deadlines for yourself. The second mistake is relying on family who are not professional editors to give you feedback. And the third mistake is leaving your writing time up to chance. So I know that this all sounds really good, but how do you actually follow through on it? Well, I created a really cool tool, a daily writing checklist that has already helped many authors to get a regular writing routine done, meet their deadlines, finish their manuscripts. And the really cool thing about it is that it's like a template that you can modify it, make it your own, put in things that really work for you. It's going to help you to get into the mindset of writing. It's going to help you to get the most out of your writing time. And it's also going to help you to keep your momentum in the long run because I know how frustrating it is to do the stop and go writing. So it's going to help you with all of those. And you can download it at writewithmagic.com/checklist. And what I recommend is that after you go through the checklist, that you see what works for you, add in some things that you know are going to boost your writing success even more, and then just use it daily. That's what it's for. It's a writing checklist to take the guesswork out of what you need to do to write effectively every day. So download it at writewithmagic.com/checklist. And I look forward to hearing about your writing success.